Man, the moment we all been waiting for, season one. We get a new map, new guns, new gadgets, a new vehicle, and we also get the free battle royale that's launching. I'm gonna be checking that out with friends pretty soon. Whenever I get some friends on and I put together a little squad. Definitely looking to post some battle royale gameplay of Red Sec. That's what it's called. But we actually got to play. Well, at least I got to play the new. I think it's called Blackwell map, and so far, like, my impressions on it, I think it flows really great. I even faced a decent amount of snipers, but it wasn't overwhelming like Zobek City is, like, where it's like sniper heaven and you feel like you're getting sniped like everywhere you go in certain matches. I feel like this map has more balance. It looks beautiful. I honestly really enjoyed it. I mean, in this gameplay, I'm not gonna lie, my team got smashed. This is a solo match, so I just queued up randomly just to get this map because I wanted to get a gameplay of the new map, of course, for season one. And I gotta say, it looks beautiful. It flowed beautiful. Feels pretty balanced in my opinion. But the main things I was looking out for were, visibility. We already know that there was like exposure bugs where certain times you would look out of a building or look into a certain part of the map. It was worse, I think, on like Firestorm and a few other maps. I forget the names. I forget which ones really had it bad, but it would just make it look like you had 1,000 brightness, and it was very unpleasant. It made visibility of enemies outside very hard to see, but then they could see you. It led to a big imbalancement in gunfights because sometimes you can't even see who's shooting at you, depending on what angle you got, depending on what map you're on. That seems to have been fixed from what I saw on Twitter. I was looking on Twitter, and a lot of those maps they were doing before and afters. That seems to be resolved. This is the new map, so I'm pretty sure that problem wasn't going to be here regardless. So I'm glad to see that's being fixed. The second big thing was, bloom, shots not going where your reticle is at, weapon dispersion, as they call it. So far in this match, I'm going to be playing more. That's why this is an impressions video. So this was my first match on. Wanted to get out some gameplay really quickly, but it felt a lot crispier. I didn't have to dump out 30 bullets to, get a longer range kill. It felt like a lot more responsive, and bullets were definitely going where they're supposed to. So I definitely feel like there's an improvement, and that's only one game in. So the more that I play, I'm definitely going to be able to give, my full review on it at some point. But to me, even though we got smashed in this matchup right here, I still had a ton of fun. I ended up getting, I think I was like top on my team. I got like 6 or 7 captures. I was trying to make things happen. In the beginning, I was just kind of trying to get used to the layout of the map. And then before I know it, we already got like pretty much like stuck at this one flag, and there were snipers surrounding us, cutting us off from trying to go to any of the other capture points, which is beautiful. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. And there's some DMRs, so it was very hard for us to push out. So starting off like this is definitely not good, but a game is really good when you're having fun and enjoying even when you're losing. Not a lot of games can do that. Not a lot of games are that fun, in this day and age. But I feel like the weapon bloom has definitely gotten improved, though, at least. But the more I play, the more, we'll see if it really is fixed fully. It definitely is better than the last patch for sure. But yeah, using this, I just unlocked this cord AR. You unlock it by getting a certain amount of damage with, assault rifles. And I think a certain amount of kills with ARs as well. But the level, like, it's crazy. The RPM on this thing has manageable recoil, and it just drops people. Its damage per second is just insane. So definitely recommend checking out this, this AR. And I just love that I'm learning this game a lot more. So, as the seasons go through, just seeing how much I can improve just by, watching some YouTube tutorials and watching some of the pro players play this game definitely is fun, because I definitely love learning games and just getting way better at them. But yeah, I'm gonna try to unlock that new carbine, because I think we get like a new carbine rifle. for the season 1 update. I heard it was pretty good. I'm definitely gonna try to get a gameplay with that and maybe like a little class setup video whenever I can. But with lighting and the bloom being fixed, that was some of my biggest complaints with this game. So now that visibility is seemingly a lot better and you got weapon bloom pretty much fixed. I don't know if it's fully fixed, but I definitely felt the improvement. As far as in the movement, they said they smoothed out the movement and made transitions and like, vaulting over, cover and all that smoother so it could feel, I don't know, to match the gunplay pace. But I didn't really notice too much of a difference. To be honest, I'm not really somebody who's going to rely on movement because I was a COD player, but when I left COD a very long time ago, like probably like a year after Warzone came out, maybe like 2021 maybe, I pretty much left after Warzone, just didn't really do anything to innovate. Cheaters were an issue. I was playing a game called Rainbow Six Siege where it's a one-shot headshot game and there's no aim assist and it's very tactical. So in that game you have to really rely on your map knowledge, your game IQ, your weapon skill, and obviously the main point of that game is not to slide cancel and to run in circles to avoid gunfire to get one-shot headshots. That's not what Siege is about. So this game feels like what Call of Duty should have been, mixed with some of that Rainbow Six Siege, tacticalness about it. That's what I like. It's a very good mixture, and I'm loving it though. Yeah, I was trying to capture here. And then look at that. They all spawned here. I tried to make something happen here. But yeah, they pinned us down really, really well. I'm not going to lie. I think some of our people quit. And yeah, we got demolished. But still had a very, very great time. Yeah, I'm also trying out different weapon classes. Like, I haven't had a game where I'm like looking forward to play and level up different guns. Like, it's not like Call of Duty in a sense where it's like, okay, this AR and this LMG is all you can use, and if you don't use it, you're screwed. It's not like that at all. For example, like this AR is probably one of the top ARs next to M433. The SOR is pretty good for its accuracy, but at the end of the day, you could be very powerful with any gun in the game. Like even the LMGs, you could be demolishing lobbies with LMG. You could demolish a lobby with the DMRs. You could be a very powerful sniper that really prevents people from moving to the next objective. So I would say damn near all the weapon classes are OP in its own right, as they should be. Like SMGs will melt you close to mid-range. Hopefully the range, I heard, did catch a nerf, so hopefully it's more balanced. So they're not beaming you with the MP5 from like 40 meters away while you got an AR. So hopefully that is fixed. The more I play and face people that are using SMGs, we'll be able to see if that's more balanced. But pretty sure it is, because I mean, for the most part, I was able to outgun most of SMGs. It was just a few times in some gameplays I had where I just would get beamed from really far, from like I think what was like a P90, MP5. Yeah, so that's definitely not really fun because they're not even using the right weapon at the right range. That's part of the skill gap too in this game. You have to be using guns at the proper ranges, because like the L110 is my favorite LMG, and I can't take the same gun battles as I do with that one with my cord AR, for example. Like, I'm not able to sustain fire with that low recoil and high damage output at that range compared to an LMG, which, adds a layer of skill on its own. That's why sometimes if I see somebody really far, I will flank around cover and I'll cut that distance to put myself in better range with my AR so I can, gun down my opponent at a proper range and have the best chance of winning that gunfight. And also having that trigger discipline is also going to help you guys a lot. There's a lot of times where I see somebody running by, I don't always shoot at them. Sometimes they're running next to buildings, containers, or something. A lot of times just don't shoot. You can actually crouch run. I love doing this. If I see somebody that runs by me, gets in the cover or something, I'll like crouch run behind them, Not directly behind them, I'll be a little bit further back. And I will try to follow them to get them in an open position where I could just gun them down very, very easily. So that's definitely a great tip. You know, once I learned you could crouch run to, you know, do some flanks. That's also why you probably don't hear some people that flank you. It feels like they have dead silence. That's might be why. You know, because you can crouch run. You guys start running. Like once you start sprinting, you just click the crouch button and you would be in a crouch running position. It'll run a little bit slower than full sprint, of course, but you do have the element of surprise. Yeah, we're taking this Humvee. I'm trying to make something happen on just trying to get another flag or something. Even though we're losing, I'm still trying to play the objective as best as I can. I was in awe of the map and trying to really see how the map was. And then in the beginning, I'm like, oh shit, they got 4 captures to R1 and we're pinned. And I'm like, damn, before you knew it, yeah, like look at that. Weapon dispersion, like that kill right there might have taken me a whole mag before this update because of the shots not lining up. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, whoa, I'm killing them even faster than I was yesterday. That's simply because those first 5 to 6, 7 shots are definitely lined up properly. The only time Bloom is supposed to kick in and should kick in is if obviously I'm moving around too much while I'm ADSing, or maybe I am shooting with too much sustained fire and not burst firing, and not, you know, if I'm dumping the whole mag at somebody and I can't control it, then a little bit more bloom can happen. I totally get that. That adds a skill gap and that adds a bit more realism, you know, but for the most part, I'm pretty much lining up my shots very well. So getting rewarded for having, you know, precision aim and, you know, planting my feet while I'm shooting most of the time. Sometimes I'll strafe a little bit if they're close to mid-range. You know, obviously it doesn't matter, but when they're, you know, the long mid-range and really long range, like the 40 meters or even plus, obviously I'll either tap fire or I'll just plant my feet because I do got that vertical grip on this gun. I really just can't wait till I unlock the suppressor. You guys don't even understand how powerful suppressors are, you know, like there's times where I had a suppressor on some of my other ARs and I'm able to kill a couple people and the team is literally just operating like their squad didn't die behind them because they don't really hear the gunfire. They don't see you on the map at a certain range. So it's a lot easier to create flanks, and those will literally help your team make captures or even defend teams from stealing your objective. But in my opinion, my favorite game mode so far to play in total is going to be Conquest. It's more spread out. It feels, you know, a lot. It plays a lot better in my opinion. You know, Breakthrough, there's times where, you know, you can feel like you could just get pinned. Well, not pinned like in the beginning of this match. That's more our team's fault for not pressing forward immediately. Or we could just start off on a bad side of the map. Maybe it was easier for them to cap. But, you know, maybe our team could have spread out more in the beginning. That's totally understandable. I don't mind that. We definitely deserve to lose this one. But when I was playing Breakthrough in the beta, I remember I was just getting like spawn killed a whole bunch. And I was like, man, this feels like a Call of Duty domination, like spawn trap type of mode. And it seems like people were having those same issues. Like, I guess it's not spread out enough. But Conquest, you have more room. It's like a real battlefield, you know? It feels like an authentic battlefield. So I'm glad I found a really good game mode that I like to play. So yeah, I finally got the RPG unlocked because I was doing some research. Wasn't sure which one like kills tanks the fastest, and I learned that yeah, it's the RPGs pretty much. The RPG is the best one to take out tanks, so definitely gonna be using them. Because the other one you get originally, it's a top-down missile, so it's always gonna defaultly do 294 damage. But with the RPG, you can obviously hit it in the back for 600 damage. You hit it on the side for like 400 damage. So yeah, I've been doing my research on that. So I'm glad I got that unlocked. It's definitely going to help my team. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more Battlefield 6 content and more on the way.